like I tell my son, I go, you didn't sign a contract that says life will be easy. You signed the other contract that says life's going to be really fucking hard. It's going to hand you a bunch of shit at times you don't want to do. But you know what? You're going to fucking suck it up and you're going to do it. That duality is my strength because I can harness stuff from that emotional part of me. People watch me beat the out of somebody and then watch me in a totally different format and go, is that the same dude? What this is and what you are outside the ring are completely two different things. You can be this inside the ring, but when it's over, you leave it there. Every single thing I did had to have intention. And that intention, when it's all focused and driven in one direction, is powerful.
You seem like a nice guy coming here with a smile and everything, but your nickname is the Smashing Machine.
Right?
What's the deal with this nickname?
Oh gosh, man! So I tell you, Máquina de Vader, the Portuguese, they said you're the machine that smashes. And when the reporter looked at when the reporter looked at it, when you looked at my fight, third fight that night against Fabio Gugel, it was a beating. You know, like sometimes it's even hard for me to watch it because it's one where I'm like, oh God, like I know that hurts. And the dude wouldn't give up. And you know this, like when you're competing and grappling and doing jiu-jitsu, like trying to take somebody's will.
Yeah.
It's sometimes somebody just doesn't fucking want to give it to you.
But fighting and competing in jiu-jitsu are like
different things, different things.
Yeah,
Same objective though. I'm trying to take your will, right?
Yeah.
Just at a different mechanism, right? Different mechanism, right? But that intensity of what you're trying to do, because when you're competing against me, I don't want to give you that.
Yeah.
I don't.
So this is, I think, is this in the movie?
This is yes.
This fight in particular, because I remember people talking about this fight, and this is I'm
headbutting
him, and right?
I break his orbital, I fracture his orbital.
You ever think about how people are doing now?
So I ran into him when they did the first class of induction in ADCC in Vegas. And I ran into Fabio, nicest dude in the world. I got a great story. So you imagine this, right? Like this is like 15 minutes of me just and literally I'm going, just give up. In my head, I'm like, at some point, I'm like, just give the fuck up, dude. But everybody in that crowd is there to support him, right? They're from his dojo. He's the sensei at the dojo.
Yeah.
So there's no way he would rather get choked unconscious, break a leg, break an arm, fractured fit. It doesn't matter. So I mean, you see here, it's just like I'm like mauling him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's supposed to be no time limits. And so the referee sees his orbitals broke and stopped the fight. They award the victory to me. And then the next day, his wife calls me. He doesn't speak English back then. Yeah. Speaks perfect English now. And so his wife's like, Fabio wants to have you up to the house for lunch. This is the next day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, thank you. Like thinking he's going to have like 20 of his boys just camped out, just waiting for me, going, oh, when he gets here, boys, we're going to. And I finally agree. I said, okay, I'll go. And so I go up there and I sit down with him, and it was the coolest experience in the world because it sets the standard of like what this is and what you are outside the ring are completely two different things.
Yeah.
You can be this inside the ring, right? But when it's over, you leave it there. And that's the message that Fabio gave to me. It gave me this just great insight at the beginning of my fighting career to know that there's a distinct difference between that and when you're outside the ring.
You mentioned no time limit.
Yeah. Oh God.
How do you prepare?
You know what?
Being 250, 260 pounds, how do you prepare for no time limit? Is there any breaks at all? Or
no.
Or just
you fight until somebody gives up.
They don't give you like 30 seconds to
no.
take a sip of water or something?
I mean, you can't even do the fake poke in the eye. Like, hang on a second. Hang on. There's no it's like, oh, he pokes you in the eye. Keep going.
I think you even get in Pride, you'd get like fined or something, right?
You do.
Get like docked pay, like if you're not active.
They give you like in soccer, they give you a yellow card,
Give you a card.
yellow card, and they give you a red card. First yellow card, I think it was like 15% of your pay. Second one, it goes to 25. A red card, 50% of your pay.
Yo, that's fun.
Oh, it's not right.
You're not fighting hard enough. You're being lazy.
Oh my God.
Holy crap.
Yeah, Pride. I mean, it turned in, like I was saying earlier, it's like when you have, in Pride, it was a 10-minute first round. 10 minute. That's a diminished product after 5 minutes. Yeah. You're getting two dudes just kind of hanging out because it's just like you don't have the cardiovascular system to do that. Mm-hmm. So that's when they started doing the cards. Yeah. Cards. I'm like, oh,
they're only making it worse.
Oh, making it just way worse. Way worse.
What did your cardio training look like though? Like how did you, I mean, I know you have a long history of being a wrestler and wrestlers are always in great condition, but in wrestling you get breaks? You do. Like it's in collegiate, it was a 3-minute first period, 2-minute second, 2-minute third, and there was always that kind of break in between. Like once the first period was over, there was like this lull that you had to get your bearings, right? Mm-hmm. So cardiovascularly, the closest system that mirrored what I wanted was hockey. And that's where TR Goodman came in. That's where the whole pro camp thing came in. That's where he was taking these hockey players because it's burst, recover, burst, recover, burst, recover, burst, recover. And so the whole point was like, how do I didn't know this language back then, but how do I increase my capacity? How do I increase my cardiovascular, so my VO2 capacity and then my heart rate capacity to be able to carry that. Hockey player, burst, recover. And that's one where you can get through the training camp of that and not be beat up. That was the other one. Like you could get people that could cardiovascularly train for a 5-minute round, 5-minute rounds, just they couldn't get through the training camp. That was the whole thing. It's like, because it was this puzzle that needed to be solved. You know who else actually started solving the puzzle? Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock and I had conversations 25 years ago about heart rate training and all this other stuff. And he was the only person I could talk to about it. He realized he can't just redline this.
No.
Because there's too much different types of training. I mean, you're in the gym, you're lifting, you're doing cardiovascular training on bikes. You're probably doing a little bit of running. I mean,
a list of stuff. What's that?
Did you do some road work?
So I did. It was limited because it was really hard on my. You're big.
You're heavier.
Yeah. It's like gravity and my joints just don't agree.
Sprints though, probably, right?
Sprints a ton.
Yep.
Sprints, hills, inclines, bleachers. Like ASU on the track and field has got bleachers that are like. I think it's probably a 30% grade.
Damn.
And literally they go, okay, run the bleachers. And I go, I ain't running. I'm just walking them. I'm walking. I'm good. I'm just good walking them because you spiked your heart rate. And then on the way down, you could recover. And on the way up, you spiked it again. And on the way down, you recover. Mm-hmm. And it was this up, down, up, down, up, down. Same thing cardiovascularly. It's this. But, I mean, at the end of the day, too, I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago, how many calories I had to take in per day so I wasn't catabolic. It was like one of those things where it's like now I still have food issues because I had to force. So I had to do 4, I call them soft meals and 4 hard meals. That was a minimum.
Yeah, in the movie I see you making shakes all the time.
And I was like,
the blender's always going.
Because I couldn't physically eat, like going, oh my God, I need to eat again. But I had to, right? So food became this thing where I still get hang-ups. Going all the way back to wrestling and cutting weight and doing all this stuff. It was one where, like still this day, I just have food issues.
You were doing like what, 2-3 workouts a day though, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So no, I was going to say in the morning it would get up and I would do my first soft meal, like get right up and have
soft meal's like a blended meal.
A blended meal. Yep. And that would be first. And then it would be like, okay, get my routine. Yeah. Sometimes I would lay back down, get up, eat a hard meal, right? And then head to the gym. Mm-hmm.
and then another meal, either a hard meal or soft meal, depending on what the day looked like.
Yeah.
And then it would be just repeating all day long.
Wow.
Get up, repeat, get up, repeat, get up, repeat.
Yeah. You know, going back to what you were mentioning here with how like he was really good at separating the fight from, you know, just being a chill human being. Were you good at that the whole before, or did it take you time to be able to like compartmentalize?
This was what I was talking to Mark about earlier. Like I didn't know what a professional mixed martial artist looked like. Nobody did.
Yeah.
Nobody did. Because look at the early UFC. You had a boxer walk in, one glove on, one glove off, right? That's the confusion.
Yeah.
So
it seemed like the worst decision ever, by the way.
God, man. Can you imagine this corner guy going, all right, Bill, it's a good thing. One glove on and one off. You're like, and afterward, I guarantee he goes, you don't like me, do you? Because if somebody like me would tell me to take the other glove off too, right?
Yeah.
It's so
like such a handicap.
Oh my God. It's like, I can't imagine the thought process that went into that. Because somebody thought of that, you know? So that gave you an idea at the beginning, like what a mixed martial artist was. Mm-hmm. Like nobody knew.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. So where Fabio helped me in this direction was to understand, like, this is how you carry yourself, right? And so, you know, for me, it made it clear, like, you know, if a guy fouled me and kicked me in the nuts and poked me in the eye, I'm not going to be friendly with him outside the ring because there's no reason to. But I'm not going to go after him. I'm not going to be an antagonist. I'm not going to be It's just, that's who you are. That's fine. Because I'm going to carry myself at a much higher level.
Yeah.
You know, because up here is a professional, down here is everything else. Like I told you, I wanted to be paid like a professional. So if I looked like, and I've said this in interviews before, like if you look at like one of the Pride interviews, you'll see everybody in a sweatsuit, tracksuit.
Uh-huh.
And you'll see me, I couldn't afford a $1,000 Calvin Klein suit, right? Because I'm like, I'm going to be paid. You're going to pay me.
Yeah.
You know, It was this whole narrative that I didn't, in retrospect, I can look back on it and go, and I understood what I was doing, but I didn't understand what I was doing.
You mentioned having like food issues. What are the issues that you still have with food? You have like a battle about like what's healthy and what's not healthy kind of thing?
Because, you know, a lot of it turns into, like most people, you know, food of convenience, right? Low nutritional, low density, nutritional food, quick grab, easy, you know, where I know that those choices are the worst thing I can do, right? Instead of just taking the time, because food, it was a tool, you know, it was a tool to be able to get to where I wanted to get to. So, you know, a lot of times I go, it's just easy. I'm going to grab a fucking Twinkie. Even though my glycemic index goes through the fucking roof, all this other shit. And I go, man, I can't, why do I feel like shit? Oh, because you're missing like Casey means and Cody means, right? Like the book
Casey means and
Casey. They wrote a book. She wrote a book called Good Energy.
Okay,
right. And so the book talks about like if your phone required 20 volts, right, and you were putting 9 volts in it every day and going, my phone's not working right, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Your body. She goes, your body's the same way. If your cells require a certain amount of energy and you're feeding it this crap and your body's not responding, it's not a mystery.
It's still calories, but it's maybe not efficient calories.
They're not efficient. Exactly. And she talks about, I mean, the book is, it's interesting because the first like 3-4 chapters of it are scientific. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, if I can just get through these guys. And then you get to the point where it's like the whole thing. She's actually went through a nomination process. She was brilliant. She
did a bunch of stuff with like RFK.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, she is. She's partner right now. I think she's actually trying to.
Yeah, she was at the University of Stanford, and I think she was very upset with her education from there because she was like, I didn't really learn anything about nutrition.
So she exactly. You know, part of her story, and I might get a lot of this wrong, but she like graduated high school when she was like 15, 16 years old, graduated pre-med when she was like 18, done with medical by the time she was in her mid-20s, done with her residency by the time she's like like done, like brilliant. And her brother is a doctor as well. And she walked away.
Wow.
In her 30s.
Yeah.
She just goes, I quit. Medical system does not want anybody to get well. You know, she would see in the book, she talks about seeing a patient every 6 months and it's just repeat. And she goes, she got rewarded for billing, not for results. And she was just like, I can't do this. I can't. In good conscience, I just can't do it.
When you were fighting, it seemed like you were eating pretty clean.
I was eating really clean, obsessively clean. I mean, you see in the movie, it's like, no, that's, I'm not eating half a banana anymore. It's a whole banana, and dumped the whole fucking shake out because it was like, it was like my, like I had my plan.
Yeah.
Right. You're fucking with my plan. Like, I can't have those extra fucking potassium you know, it's like, just because, I mean, I was
trying to do it the right way.
I was, and you know what? You know, the internet wasn't the internet. This was like talking to 9 guys at the gym and picking out the big ones going, what you doing? Like, what you doing? Yeah, okay, you're hitting how many sets? And you're eating how much? Okay, good. Hang on a second. Let me write that down.
You're also a wrestler, too.
Yeah.
That wrestling background of like, coach said to do it this. Why would I do it the wrong? Why would I do it? The coach just told me the wrong way.
Oh, the guy that actually like changed my whole life was a guy named Chris Campbell. He was when Dan Gable became a coach at Iowa. Chris Campbell was Dan Gable's first NCAA champ.
Wow,
a black brother, right?
Yeah.
And just unbelievable. Made the 19. I think he was a 2-time NCAA champ. He made the 1980 Olympic team that was boycotted. Won the 1981 World Championship, voted as best clinician, and that's voted on by your peers. Gets injured, walks away from wrestling, decides at some point he's going to come back and wrestle, and then starts training for the 92 Olympics, like in 1989.
Wow.
And made the Olympics at 37 years old and won a bronze medal.
Chris Campbell?
Chris Campbell, yeah. And so he was meticulous because he had no margin for error. He had no margin for error. Like what he did was so deliberate. He created in me intention. Like every single thing I did had to have intention. Like when you went to the gym, you trained for this. You did this. When you drilled in wrestling, you drilled like this, like this, like this. Very intentional. And that intention, when it's all focused and driven in one direction, is powerful.
Question about Chris, because you've worked with so many people, but you know, winning at 37 or getting a bronze at 37, a lot of guys are like, at that age, nah. Like a lot of guys maybe run down, etc. Outside of maybe the intention, is there any things that Chris did in training that you think were also separators that people?
Tai Chi.
That's awesome. Okay, please.
So seriously, so me, I'm young. He's 14 years older than me.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him go, and I'm like, Chris, what the fuck are you doing, man? And so he would do Tai Chi. He would meditate. He was a vegetarian.
He was vegetarian?
Vegetarian. Now he's a vegan. Wow. In back then, that was like it wasn't like it is now. And so it was like this beacon of like, whoa, like, what are you doing? Like, but it was stuff everybody's into now.
Yeah.
Right. Like he was teaching me Tai Chi and it was like one of those things where I'm like, okay, I get it. Energy, internal, shifting, motion, you know, all these different things. And I'm like, it would come into play when we would wrestle. Like you would see like this whole flow and this whole, it was like, okay, all right.
Spending time with yourself, you know, even just that, right?
Yeah.
And practicing particular movements, seeing how you feel with particular movements. Maybe he's flowing real well and maybe you got to do it and you go, my knee kind of hurts when I'm doing this, right? And you got to learn how to flow better, move better.
He turned me on to so much Khalil Gibran, you know, book called The Prophet. You know, like just turn me on to this deeper thinking as a human being, this introspective part of like searching for stuff.
Yeah.
Internally. Not an external search, right? Like a search internally. And I look at it and I'm like, he was so far. He introduced me to Dave Schultz.
Who's Dave Schultz? I'm sorry, I should probably know.
No. Dave Schultz was murdered by John DuPont Demure, right?
Okay.
Foxcatcher.
Yeah, Foxcatcher.
Right? So after the 92 Olympic run, Chris was going to retire. And so Chris said, I've taken you as far as I can take you. The next person he handed me to was Dave Schultz. Introduced me to Dave. Introduced me to Foxcatcher. I started wrestling for Foxcatcher in 1993, 94, 95, and then January 96 is when Dave was murdered. And there's me and Kurt.
What was that like, being part of that? Because like that was like all paid for and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice because like wrestling doesn't really have much money behind it.
So back then you were so desperate. I was so desperate to have a club team pick me up because when you're under scholarship, things are taken care of, right? And then you get done and you want to wrestle Olympic style, freestyle wrestling, nothing's paid for. And so you have to hook up with the club team. And so when I started talking to Dave in 1992, Dave was like, you make Foxcatcher, you beat everybody that's at your weight on Foxcatcher. And that year, from 92 to 93, at the World Team Trials, I beat everybody on Foxcatcher's team to make my first World Team in 93.
And this is you and Kurt Angle?
Yeah. You're
right. Kurt Angle is fast as shit.
Oh, he's quick. Like he could change levels and he could explode. So here I still had a little bit more horsepower than him. He had a little bit better conditioning. And at the end in 95, when he beat me in 96, he had a combination of the power he missed and the conditioning just was off the charts. He could just wear you into the ground.
He's a little lighter than you?
Yeah. He wrestled heavyweight all his years in college.
Yeah.
All his years.
Yeah.
He wrestled this guy, I think his senior year. I think it was Sylvester Tarquet.
I know Sylvester. Yeah,
Sylvester's like 6'6". He's got hands that lap my hands. They're ginormous.
Yeah, bring up some video of Sylvester. He's massive.
Oh, he's ginormous. I mean, ginormous. So Kurt beat him. And so Kurt against the heavyweights, Kurt just was so much faster. So much faster.
That was like part of his advantage.
Oh, huge advantage. Huge.
You wrestled Sylvester as well, right?
Yeah, I did.
Look at that jaw.
I wrestled Sylvester my senior year. I didn't cut down to 190 until the end of the year. And he got on top of me and he just mowed me over.
He's just wrenching that guy's face.
It's the second time in college I had been pinned. Was by him.
This makes me wonder, since we're on the topic of like wrestling, you mentioned that the way that you learned when you were younger was that right foot in front, right shoulder in front. Yeah. Do you think that there's merit to a level of symmetry in getting young athletes to like maybe lead with the other foot sometimes?
They're like Kurt was a left leg lead.
Okay.
And it's just as an anomaly. It wasn't, I don't know how common it is now. I know when I was wrestling, it's just how it was taught.
Yeah.
It was taught that goofy foot, right leg forward, your dominant leg forward. And then all your attacks, would be out of that leg forward. Yeah. I see guys now that actually can wrestle both legs, because square stance usually doesn't work, because you can't generate, I call them power generators. Like if I'm stagger step, I can skip step and I can generate power close in, like I call it fighting in a phone booth.
Yeah.
Right. Like these power steps by grabbing and pulling and shucking and, so, some guys do it now. It's interesting. I wouldn't even know. Like now I haven't looked at it at that level.
I got you.
Yeah.
Wrestling, it's a sport that's been around for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And people get exposed to it in high school, and some people wrestle, some people play football, some people play basketball, and so on. But fighting is like a whole different category thing. And I realize fighting has even been around forever too, and there's even been organized fighting has been around. And I know in Japan it's been popular for many years, and then here in the U.S. we had the UFC that popped up. But what was the jump? What was the leap like into like, now I'm going to like be punching and kicking and all these things.
At first
you got to feel confident you can protect yourself really well.
So that I had the, like the confidence I had was, I know that I was going to be well conditioned, right? I know that like with wrestling, what it allows you to do, what it allowed me to do is you can conserve energy in certain spots, right? Like standing on my feet, kicking and punching, I don't know where I can conserve energy because I just haven't done it for 20 years, right? I wrestled for 20 years. I know where I can need to apply pressure and I know where I can relax and then pull up. So I knew those are some of the advantages. Everything else was just like, I didn't know what I was going to do when I got in there. How was you going to react? Because training and an actual event, but it's one where it's like, it was just this natural transition of not thinking about it. It's like, oh, his face is there, I'm going to knee it. Oh,
was somebody like, hey, we're going to go to this thing, and it's going to, you get, if you win, you get like $5,000 or something. Was it?
Oh no, this is what enticed me, like 25,000 the first fight.
Wow.
But they're like, hey, listen, we're going to go down to Brazil. And then I didn't hear anything else after the 25,000 because it's like, oh yeah, you're going to fight 3 times one night. Oh, there's going to be no time limits. There's going to be, it's going to be bare knuckle. It's going to be in the basement of a hotel. And we're going to slot where one side is, we want this guy Fabio in the finals. And are you good with it?
Wow.
All I heard was 25,000.
Yeah.
And everything else I didn't hear. I didn't hear any of that.
How'd that go?
I won. That's the fight. That's
insane.
That's the incredible part about like.
And you didn't have much striking back. Like how much did you train for? A couple weeks, months,
No, I trained probably like 3 months, but 3 months of like, still, you're not going to pick up much in 3 months.
Maybe just to hold your hands up and move your head a little bit.
That's it. And, and understand like there's so many other different ways that you can strike, with my knees and with my elbows, with my head, and things like that. 'Cause it's all legal, so it's just one of those where, those elements were brought out. Like I was saying earlier, it's like, I feel way more comfortable kneeing or kicking you. Because I can just feel like I can just generate.
Don't
so
knee
much
or
more.
kick me.
No.
Try it on Encima.
Encima. I think he can handle himself too.
I know.
I think he can. I mean, there's a big age gap here.
So let me ask you this: like, as you were progressing as a fighter, when was it that like you met Bas Rutten and then all of that?
Oh gosh, man, that's a godsend. I mean, so I did. Let's see, it'd be UFC 14.
Which you won that.
I won that.
Yeah.
I won UFC 15. After UFC 15 is when I met Bas. And it's just this really weird connection of a friend of mine saying, hey, there's this guy in Beverly Hills who has a jiu-jitsu school called Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu, and he wants you to come out to do a wrestling clinic. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay. Because back then you're trying to pick up as much money from his little things. I think it was like $250 to come out. He'd fly you out. And I was like, okay, for a weekend, yeah. And then it changed from that to like, hey, he wants you to come out and teach wrestling, like on Fridays and Saturdays, like Friday evening and Saturday morning. And then you can fly home on Saturday. And I'm like, okay, we can talk about it. This guy's, his name's Avi Rubin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I go out there. I don't know Bas is there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know Marco Huaz is there, Pedro Hizo, and Oleg Tatarov.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And it ended up being like one of those, like, I wouldn't be here if it was anything different. Because Bas took an interest immediately. Bas took an interest in me, and I mean, that's literally, it was like this. Oh my God.
And Bas is aging well, man.
Yeah,
in that movie, like he's playing himself.
Yeah, I know.
And this is Rico? Or?
Yeah, it's Rico Rodriguez, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he won.
He beat Randy Couture.
Yeah.
He beat Randy Couture to win
It's amazing when you watch some of this stuff and you're like, oh, that guy did this and this guy did that because all you guys are around each other all the time.
It's small circle.
Right.
You know, the first time I met Rico Rodriguez, he was 320 pounds and fat. He was his instructor is Higa Machado.
Yeah.
And so he's got his black belt from Higa Machado.
Wow.
And so he's 20 years old. I'm like 30 at the time or 28. And, you know, he comes in and he's just this round, and it was just one of those weird things where I was like, okay, you want to wrestle? And he knew a little bit of wrestling. Yeah. So we start wrestling and I'm like, oh, okay. And so we start training together and I literally say to him, I go, you can tell you this. I go, probably 2 years, maybe a year and a half. And he goes, what? A year and a half. I go, before you can take me down. And he's like, no, fuck you. I'm like, no, maybe 2 years. And it was probably 2 years before he fucking took me down. I didn't care if I fucking was running across the mat. He wasn't going to take me down. I don't care if I had to like rip a leg off. You know, it's like, it was this like war of attrition some days.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was like, I just go, you're not gonna, until your technique is up to a level where you're not gonna be successful at it. You're just not. And
well, you had a lot of like accelerated learning with all the different people that you were around. It seemed like even in your wrestling career, it was difficult for anyone to even get a point on you, much less be able to beat you.
Yeah, that was Chris. I mean, that was part of what he enabled me to do, because part of the understanding is like with my mentor, Chris Gamble, right? Yeah. Like him saying almost the same thing to me, like saying it without words, like it's going to be a minute before you, and understanding like my technique had to rise to this level of like, take the pebble, right? And it was like, you're not going to get it until you actually put the work in, right? You're not just gonna take it. And so it was like this understanding of like, when I finally got it, it was like that belief that like, wow, like I can do this.
Yeah.
At a very high level. So
let me ask you this too. Like, what else do you think kind of separated you in terms of from other fighters? Because everyone trains.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if it's common for a lot of guys to watch a lot of tape, but maybe that. But what else do you think were the things that really kind of put you at a different level that maybe other guys weren't doing enough?
Yeah. And you know, part of the continuation was meeting TR Goodman. And being at that forefront of understanding like what functional training was and what heart rate training was. And it wasn't just like before, it was just like, I don't know, go punch the bag until you hear the bell ring.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't have this intention of like, no, this is what we're going to do. We're building 1,000-foot building. We got to make sure it's level at the bottom, right? Or it's off 10 feet at the top, right? We're going to do this, and this, and this, and understanding like I believed him. Because it was different. Yeah. It was just different than anything. Because before it was just like, I don't know, lift that, squat that, pick that up, do this.
You said first couple times you trained with him, you were like,
oh God, man, we were doing like rotator, like my arms shaking, like and getting up from the bench and going, that's just that. What is that? You know, like doing hip movements, you know, open up your hips, and you're like at first you're like, why is my leg shaking?
Yeah.
Like why? Because my quads are this big, right? But everything internally just isn't fucking working.
Yeah.
You know, and going, we're building a 1,000-foot building, bro. We need to get all that little stuff. We need to get it working. Because otherwise all this muscle is just useless.
What is it? What it means to be a pro is like so different than maybe what you expected. Being a pro means like, actually paying attention to like where your heart rate is in these particular training sessions, so you can actually recover.
Yeah.
I think that people don't realize that side of it. You know, being a professional means you're going to go to bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Being a professional means you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. or whatever
whatever the protocol is, right? Whatever the prescription of like what you're doing at the time frame.
It's not just the stuff you like. It's
a lot of stuff you don't.
It's all of it.
You know, exactly. It's, you know, it's one where it's like you can't pick and choose, right? Going, oh, I want to do this and I'm not going to do that.
I'm the smasher machine. I'm just going to keep wrestling and keep lifting, and I'm going to be bulky and throw people around.
Yeah, it's like if that worked, that would be the protocol, right? But it was just something totally contrary. Like my first fights, I was too big, obviously. I mean, 275, you know, 6%.
I thought you looked amazing.
I know, right? For a pose off, right? For literally a pose off, I was like,
but you got done with one of your fights and you're like walking in the back. And you're
no. It was a waddle. It was a waddle. It was not a walk. That's for sure.
Hey, The Rock did a good job getting some traps popping.
Oh my
for that movie.
God, man. He secluded himself. You know,
seemed like he had a lot of realizations.
He did. He did. So, you know, a lot of it was shot in Vancouver, just because there's for a lot of different reasons, but there's also a huge Asian population. And so a lot of the fight stuff was in Japan. So it was shot in Vancouver. And so DJ went up and, you know, rented a house and didn't bring his family up, didn't bring his daughters up, just treated it like it was a training camp. Like period, like a training camp. Got up, would get his morning workout, do all that. Because days where he'd shoot where he's me, it was a 3-hour process of putting makeup on. So it was like you get up, you do your thing, work out in the morning. I mean, it took him 3 hours because he's sleeved, right? And so
tattoos,
just to get the tattoos to where, and then he's got my little cheesy tattoos and my 2 little spiders and my little kanji, you know, and this is one where it's like, so I gave him major props, man, just for, you know, the commitment that he made. He was all in.
He broke his nose or something, almost like right off the bat, right?
Oh my God, man. He's asking these guys to do something that no production schedule wants to hear. It's like, punch me in the face. It's like, because if you break something and production has to shut down, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars a day.
Yeah.
And so he's telling Usyk, this is Alexander Usyk, right? Undisputed heavyweight champ, undisputed, 4 belts held at one time. You know how many rounds he trained to fight the Gypsy?
How many?
600 fucking rounds.
Oh my God.
With 3 different training partners. So he had first round partner, second round partner, third round, repeat. First round. So he had a fresh person coming on him every third round.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, okay, because he's
you
not
want that guy to punch you in the face.
Oh my gosh, no, you don't. So he said he had to do rounds. He had days where he wasn't allowed to punch back. Only defensive fighting.
Wow.
Like he would do, I don't know how many rounds of just defensive fighting. I'm like, because he's not the biggest dude in the world.
Yeah.
And you look at him like there has to be some, you're like, work. That's just straight up work.
How did you first? My understanding was there was a screenplay and there were some ideas about Smashing Machine, the theatrical movie for a while, right?
Yep. It was actually sold way back in 2006.
Oh wow!
And so it just kind of originally, John Himes, who's the director of the original documentary, his father has produced a bunch of stuff in Hollywood. His father was working at the time with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Jean-Claude Van Damme's production company. So one of his associates acquired the rights and was going to make it with Jean-Claude Van Damme way back then.
As in Jean-Claude Van Damme playing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so you had everything moving forward, and for whatever reason, everything just fell apart. And so the original screenplay, which is crazy, ends up with this guy named Musha, and I'm going to butcher his name, Musha Mahideen, who's this retired 75-year-old Israeli tank commander who's been in Hollywood forever and a day.
Okay.
And so in 2019, Brad Slater, who's Dwayne's agent, his office reaches out to me. I'm like, I think it's a prank. It's like July 29. And put it this way, this is even crazier. I've been sober for like 10 months, right? Not even a year of sobriety from alcohol, right? And so I'm like, okay, like whatever. I like look the number up. I'm like, oh, I'm like, this is actually to call it. Brad gets on the phone. He's like, you're not going to remember this. And I'm like, okay. I'm not going to remember what. He goes, you and I have met before. And I'm like, we have? And he goes, we had lunch at the Cheesecake Factory next to the Beverly Hills Mall when I was just out of school. He went to U of A, and I was working in the mailroom at William Morris.
Wow.
And a friend introduced me to Brad.
Yeah.
And this is what Brad looks at me. He's like, I'm in the mailroom. Like, what do you want me to do? He still sets a meeting up where I sit in front of a bunch of agents. This is like in 2000.
Yeah.
And explain to them what I do for a living. All of them. Like, you do what?
Yeah.
Like, hang on. So you got hot pants on, and you go out and you fight another dude. Does he have hot pants on too? Like that's the filter of like,
Yeah.
of like everybody in the room going, So fast forward the clock. Brad says it to me. I'm like, fuck you. Like, oh my God, dude. Like you're kidding me. And he pauses and he goes, I told you one day I would be able to help you. This is your day. And I'm like, he goes, do you know who has your rights? I said, here's where I think they are. Thinking, probably 3, 4, 5 months before he calls me back, like a month later, is like, we got the rights. We're moving forward with this. I'm like, okay. He goes, Dwayne's going to call you over the weekend. DJ reaches out to me, says, hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. And we have this like 45-minute conversation on the phone. Mm-hmm. He makes the announcement. In November 2019, pandemic happens.
Yeah.
Right? So it goes away. Like my wife, she's like, this is what's crazy. So it goes 2020, 2021, 2022, and then you end up with a writer's strike in 23, right? And it's like one of those things at the end of 2023, the running joke for me was I had Dwayne's cell phone number for 4 years. I didn't text or call him once, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to affect anything. Uh-huh. I'm not going to call him and go, are we making it yet? Are we making it now? Are you making it now? Now?
Hurry up, Dwayne.
Hurry up, DJ.
Yeah.
It's like nothing. It's like this whole thing of like, so at the fall of 2023, my wife goes, I think you ought to call Brad. And I'm like, okay, I think you're right. It's like October. Mm-hmm. Call Brad up. And it's literally like one of those things where you're like, I call him up and he goes, bro, your ears must have been ringing. I'm like, what? And he goes, I can't say anything. You're going to have to talk to Dwayne. I'm like, okay. Okay. He goes, Dwayne will call you over the weekend. I'm like, okay. So it's like, I think it was like a Thursday. Dwayne texts me the next day and says, hey, I'll call you over the weekend. So it's like Saturday, Sunday, no call. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Text me again. I'll call you over the weekend. Now you imagine like waiting that whole entire time. Like, bro, like what the fuck? So it gets to that Friday. Then it's like Saturday. And then it's Sunday. And I get a text. Hey, you available? And we have this conversation, not understanding for the last 6 weeks. He's had a team of 300 people working to get production in line, to get everybody in line that wants to work on it, that he wants to work on it, that the whole production team wants to work on it, all this. Yeah. And he's like, hey, listen, this thing's moving forward. He goes, when the train leaves the station, it leaves the station. And so that was November 2023. We talked through that whole month, and then he's like, Emily's on board, Benny's on board. Benny's going to reach out, in January. And it's this whole thing of like, it was like full steam ahead. It was like one of those experiences like, God, I wish I would have enjoyed it more because it happened so quick.
Yeah.
It's like
it took so long with that happened.
It's fast. So quick.
Yeah.
It's like foreplay, and then you get to the actual act and it's like, oh my God, sorry. Whoops. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's like,
doesn't normally happen to me.
No, it's, usually perform better than that. I mean, it's like this whole thing, right? Like it's this craziness of like, all of a sudden it's like, cause I wrote it off and I said, my life, I need to just live my life. When I first talked to Brad Slater, I go, I'm going to live my life. And if that becomes a part of it, that's awesome. But if it doesn't, I'm good with it too. Right.
Yeah.
Cause there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah.
Right. So just living my life. So when all this stuff came together, it's like, oh my God, it just happened so quick. And it was this experience that, it's indescribable. I was talking about, part of that whole like healing process was, so the UFC said, hey, listen, we want to have you out to Newark, New Jersey, as a soft reintroduction to the UFC fans. As this thing progresses and moves forward, we want the UFC community to embrace it.
Yeah.
Right. And like, okay, awesome. So I fly out with my son and one of his friends, and we have this great like meet and greet, picture taking and all this stuff, and then get into the arena. We're sitting there, and John, the announcer, gets on the mic, and the camera comes over, and I'm like, oh, this is unusual. Like, and they go, now this Hall of Fame induction, da 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 da, and it was like, oh my God.
You didn't know you were about to be
no.
That's great.
Total false premise.
Yeah.
Like totally load me up. Like I'm sitting there, I'm like it was so, like I was telling Mark, I go, I didn't know I needed that, like genuinely, like it's one of those things that you never compete with the idea that you're competing because you want to be in the Hall of Fame. You're just competing. Like I was competing to be the best at what I was doing and to raise the standard of what it was. And it was like one of those things when it was announced, it was like this, it hit me that night. And then Dwayne's like, hey, listen, I'm going to do your induction speech. I'm like, oh my God. Like of all the people in the world that I want to try to follow a speech with is probably not you, bro. But, so it was like, it was so cool because they had, it's International Fight Week in Vegas, and it was me, my brother, my other brother, my wife, my sister-in-law, my son, Emily Blunt was there, Dave Copeland, the producer, and Dwayne, and it was freaking awesome.
Having your son there, like, does that, I like with my own son, I share certain things with him. I try to expose him to as many different people as I can.
Yeah.
Especially the people in my life that are like on a good path. And then sometimes you get like a little validation of some of the things that you mentioned to your kid.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like that week was kind of like that? Not that you need validation like that from, but like it's a culmination of so many things you talked about, having a championship mindset. And going and doing things and trying new things. I'm sure there's a lot of things you've shared with your son over the years that probably,
part of it, and this is just part of my story. It's like this year will be 8 years of sobriety. So it was like one of those days where my mom died September 3rd, 1996. It was like my son was like 14 and he's like, hey, Dad, you know what? I know today's a bad day for it. I know you need to drink, but would you stop tomorrow? Yeah. Heavy.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So it still hits me. And so it's like one of those things where all the other times it had been this empty promise, right? Like, sure, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, why is he gonna? Yeah, maybe you're thinking sometimes, why is he gonna listen to me? He's seen me not doing well.
Not doing well. And so it's like one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I'll stop tomorrow. And the next day came around, and at that point I had drank probably every day for 10 years, every day, and excessively. And next day came, and it was like, I'll try. It was 8 years ago, So, this was every event and everything that's happened has helped bridge that gap of, as a kid, and this like the thing that you're trying, like the innocence of my son. He grew up way too fast because he had to face a lot of adult topics at a young age, right? Dysfunction between me and his mom, addiction, all these other things. So I had to grow up too fast. So, what it creates is it creates this environment where he doesn't trust me. So through all these, through this, and through the process of everything that he went through, it helps build that bridge back, where I talk to my son sometimes 2-3 times a day.
Awesome.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah. I think, maybe he's, has seen you at your worst, right? But he's also seen you be able to still hang on and still persevere and still make an attempt.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know the relationship 100%, but maybe he'll just look back and be like, he was doing the best he could. He ran into an addiction.
Oh, addiction
crushes people.
It does. It's a scourge. It's one of the reasons now it's like, like me personally now, the causes and the things that I'm involved in, my story is redemption and resiliency, right? It's part of it, and it's life. I could tell my son, I go, you didn't exit the womb, get born and sign a contract that says life will be easy. You sign the other contract that says life's going to be really fucking hard. It's going to hand you a bunch of shit at times you don't want to do. But you know what? You're going to fucking suck it up and you're going to do it.
I will never go to a doctor ever again about my general health. All they want to do is put you on pills.
Really well said there by Dana White. Couldn't agree with him more. A lot of us are just trying to get jacked and tan. A lot of us just want to look good, feel good. And a lot of the symptoms that we might acquire as we get older, some of the things that we might have, high cholesterol or these various things, it's amazing to have somebody looking at your blood work as you're going through the process, as you're trying to become a better athlete, somebody that knows what they're doing. They can look at your cholesterol. They can look at the various markers that you have, and they can kind of see where you're at, and they can help guide you through that.
And there's a few aspects too, where it's like, yes, I mean, no shade to doctors, but a lot of times they do want to just stick you on medication. A lot of times there is supplementation that can help with this. At Merrick Health, these patient care coordinators are going to also look at the way you're living your lifestyle, because there's a lot of things you might be doing that if you just adjust that, boom, you could be at the right levels, including working with your testosterone.
And there's so many people that I know that are looking for, they're like, hey, should I do that? They're very curious. And they think that testosterone is going to all of a sudden kind of turn them into the Hulk. But that's not really what happens. It can be something that can be really great for your health, because you can just basically live your life a little stronger, just like you were maybe in your 20s and 30s.
Mm-hmm. And this is the last thing to keep in mind, guys. When you get your blood work done at a hospital, they're just looking at like these minimum levels. At Merrick Health, they try to bring you up to ideal levels for everything you're working with. Whereas if you go into a hospital and you have 300 nanograms per deciliter of test, you're good, bro, even though you're probably feeling like shit. At Merrick Health, they're going to try to figure out what things you can do in terms of your lifestyle. And if you're a candidate, potentially TRT. So these are things to pay attention to get you to your best self.
And what I love about it is a little bit of the back and forth that you get with the patient care coordinator. They're dissecting your blood work. It's not like you just get this email back and it's just like, hey, try these 5 things. Somebody's actually on the phone with you, going over every step and what you should do. Sometimes it's supplementation, sometimes it's TRT, and sometimes it's simply just some lifestyle habit changes.
All right, guys, if you want to get your blood work checked and also get professional help from people who are going to be able to get you towards your best levels, head to merrickhealth.com and use code POWERPROJECT for 10% off any panel of your choice.
Because it's life.
Yeah.
It's just the challenges of the human condition, right? And we all experience it in a different way. So, through the process of watching me, get just one step further down the road, like a saying for myself is just what a difference sometimes a second makes. Like a thought I could have just a second ago and get one more second down the road. And I'm like, okay, I'm better. I'm better. And then you just keep multiplying out what a difference a minute can make, what a difference an hour can make, or a day can make, or a week, or a month. You never fucking know. So just, for me, it's like, I just had moments, it's like just holding on for one more fucking second.
There's not a lot of MMA movies.
No.
There's, I guess,
handful.
There's a couple.
Yeah.
And two of them are you. A documentary and a feature film.
Yeah.
Why? You thought about that? You ponder that one?
Oh man, I haven't chewed on that nugget.
You watched the Smashing. Hopefully people have already seen it, but spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Mark Coleman ends up winning that tournament that's filmed in Japan and stuff. And why do you think?
I think that there's always been this level of what I discovered through the whole entire process of, I've always looked for connection. I didn't understand it. Like it was a thing that I was missing. Like, you can try to connect with things, right? Like buying a house, buying a car, buying fancy this, buying jewelry, buying watch. But that's not connection because it's an inanimate object, right? It's not the connection. So what I've understood my whole life is that the human connection is the thing that I've tried to, and that requires a certain amount of honesty for me, emotional honesty, to be able to be vulnerable, but knowing I can be vulnerable and still kick the living fuck out of you if I needed to, right? Mm-hmm. But it's having that, knowing that duality is my strength. It's my secret sauce. It's my superpower, right? Because I can harness stuff from that emotional part of me that other people, when they're not in touch with it, they can't dig into it, And so just understanding like that, because that's part of me, it's compelling. Because people watch me beat the fuck out of somebody and then watch me in a totally different format and go, is that the same dude? So I think that's part of like just really digging into like just the condition of being a human being,
Going back to the alcohol addiction that you were mentioning, you've dealt with different aspects of addiction during fighting with pain, etc.
Yeah.
What have you, because there's a lot of people that are dealing with things and they can't figure out the way to kick it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh man.
So what have you learned about yourself in terms of the things that have helped you be able to overcome these consistently?
Oh, as far as a recovery tool, this is going to get a little bit deep, but so you have like AA, right?
Yeah.
AA's, 12-step recovery program and stuff like that. What I figured for myself that has helped with long-term recovery is that I dug into my family of origin, right? Mm-hmm. There's another program, it's called AC, Adult Child of an Alcoholic and Dysfunctional Family. And understanding like the root of like how I'm built, why I react the way I react, why I respond emotionally the way I respond, how I grew up. Because as a child, your parents are your gods.
Yeah.
Right? As an addict, you're usually the one that's inflicting and perpetrating and the one that's causing all this stuff. As a kid, you're just involved in a family system. My parents did the best they could do. I know that. Like my parents didn't have me and go, all right, let's see how bad we can fuck this one up, right? I know they did, right? So understanding my family of origin, understanding like why I'm built the way I'm built, why I react to the things I do, it's helped unravel some of those things that, that alcohol, I used to cover up because I didn't want to feel those things. Like some of those deep things, like, inadequacies and feeling less than, it's like I said before, it's like, like how I was built is I didn't even feel better than you. I wanted to feel at least equal to you. Like I always felt like I just wasn't smart enough.
Yeah.
Didn't have the right skin color, I always felt less than. Mm-hmm. So all my efforts were to try to feel equal to. I didn't want to be better than. Understanding those complexities and digging into like the roots of that stuff. And it's just, some of that stuff is like, oh, it's deep. Like it's just deep. Realistically, what I figured out is I'm either a 6-year-old or I'm just agreeable, right? This non-confrontational. Yep, I'll do it. Non-confrontational. Yep, I'll do it. Like people pleaser, right?
Yeah.
Like, yep. Even though I have no intention to doing it. Like Mark, you go, hey, you gonna go lift? Yep.
Gonna be there on Tuesday? Oh,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't want the conflict, right? Uh-huh. Or I'm a 13-year-old where I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not going to lift on fuck you. I'm not doing it. I go, if I can understand, I'm in those two states of mind most of the time. When I'm in conflict, I'm good.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's oversimplified, but it's just one of those things where it's like, those are my two reactive states. Mm-hmm. And understanding like, I don't want a 6-year-old or a 13-year-old running my life. So I need to be an adult about it. And I need to look at those aspects and understand when I'm reacting to stuff in my ecosystem, right? Like going, oh man, okay, I got it. So
having this measure of like doing better or being better in like a sport, do you think that helped fill in gaps? Because maybe ultimately what you're trying to do is just be a better person.
Yeah.
But you didn't really know that.
I didn't, I think some of that's true. I think some of that, it's always, and again, it goes back to where I looked at connection, right? Because in order to connect with another human being, you got to be a good human being. You can't have this, agenda that's just so far off on one side, because it's just like, then you're not a good human being, right? It's like understanding my willingness to be vulnerable or express myself emotionally and have that connection. It's always been something that, at times I thought it was a weakness. So I'd hide it. Mm. It's like, yeah, I cry a lot. So what? It's a good thing, right? I get emotional. It's a good thing, right? I don't pack them and wait until they explode, right? It's like, if I tell you I love you, I love you. If I go, hey, I'm a hugger, I'm not a handshaker. It's like, it's just who I am. And it's one of those, like I said, because on the other side of that, I can drag you out to the parking lot. And I can beat the fucking brakes off of you. And I'm okay with that, too.
And smile afterward and ask if you're okay.
Ask if you're okay. Going, do you need a Band-Aid for that?
I know how to wake you back up, too, if you need that.
It's just interesting. Life has brought, like I told you, watching Bigger, Faster, Stronger, right? That whole thing, like it was like a bootleg. I think I had a bootleg copy. Sorry about that. I'll give you 12.
There's a lot of those.
I'll give you $12 when I get out of here. But you know what I mean? So it was one of those where it's like, because we talked about it, there wasn't that information out in the general public, right? And I told you, like going into Gold's Gym, you just sit there and go, oh, that's the guy I need to talk to. Like the guy that's like squatting red in the face, in the corner, like that's the guy I need to talk to, right? It's like, then you go have these conversations of like, yeah, what are you on? Like, are you taking protein shakes? Because back then it was like, and then it'd be like, no, I got some sauce, I got some D-ball, and nobody was talking about it.
Right. It was underground. That's why they wrote the underground steroid handbook.
Yeah, I had a copy of that.
in SEMA, I think Bill Phillips might have been part of it. I can't remember who wrote it, but Bill Phillips later went on to create EAS, and he's brought the first. We've had him on the podcast before. He brought the first batches of creatine to the country and stuff like that, and made creatine famous and all this. But him and somebody else wrote the Underground Steroid Handbook, and they just printed it like in their like parents' basement or something.
Yeah,
and they were like, how many people are on steroids? Like, we just make like, I don't know, 10,000 copies or something. They ended up selling like 250,000 copies or something. Something like absolutely insane. It might have been over a couple of years, but I had no idea how many people were interested or on steroids.
It just, you know, explaining it to my son, I always say this, the internet wasn't the internet.
Right.
You know, there was no information out there. To be able to understand like what you were doing, you know, because I literally, it was like when I first started fighting, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew one thing. A friend said, "Hey, it's a gunfight. You're not bringing a knife, so gear up." You know, I'm like, okay, what is it?
Many different ways.
Yeah. And so we're gonna give you some armor. I'm like, okay, you know, and it's just one where it's like at that point when I started fighting, I was coming off an Olympic testing cycle, you know, so there was like zero tolerance for anything. And so literally my body's 27 years old when the first time I tried anabolics, and it was like, my body goes, about time. Like, bro, like
you've been training so hard.
Oh yeah. Something. Like about time, you know, it's like literally, it's like my body just went, and it was like, it literally did, like, it's crazy.
Question for you about that. Do you, like, you know, you gain all this size. Were there any, because you were a wrestler who was fast, dynamic, and you were still fast, dynamic as a fighter, but were there any drawbacks to all of that gain?
Besides the cardio pool, you know, there was, you know, I had lost some of the flexibility that I had, which you need. It's not like an option. Like there's certain things competing where you need to be. You have to have flexibility. To be able to do that. So some of that loss of flexibility, and the cardiovascular part of it, because as I progressed in fighting, I eventually thinned out. Where I was like, my ideal fighting weight was like 240. Like I knew, like I had this barometer. Like if I was close to 250, I didn't train hard enough. If I was under 240, I overtrained. Right? It was like this whole, like, this is the sweet spot.
Yeah.
You know, 238 to 243. That was.
We were watching a documentary last night, my wife and I, and when you went with Boss Rutan, he had you lose a bunch of weight, it looked like.
Yeah.
And she goes, holy cow, he got ripped.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, because Boss Rutan was like, he was kind of fat last time he fought. He's like, I don't want him being fat on my watch.
Yeah, his definition of fat's different.
I know, because I was like, he doesn't look fat to me.
Have you seen Boss Rutan recently, by the way?
He looks great, man. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's just, I don't, like, he's one of those where normally you would age out, where they couldn't cast you in the Smashing Machine. And so one of my first conversations with DJ was, at the end of it, he goes, hey, what's Boss doing? And I just reconnected with Boss. And I'm like, he's good. Kind of like, where's this going?
Yeah,
right. And he goes, oh, just kind of like, do you think he'd want to be involved? I'm like, yeah. As what, like a consultant? He goes, no, playing Boss. We already decided, no, we can't cast anybody as him. Like, and it was like, okay, immediately I hung the, like when we got done with the call, I immediately called Boss and I'm like, okay, dude. He was so like, oh my God, he was so excited. Excited. You know, he does look amazing.
He does.
Yeah.
Earlier you mentioned you didn't necessarily want to feel better than somebody else.
Yeah.
You just wanted to feel as good as. And I find that to be interesting because you got no idea how someone else feels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've heard this before. And somebody said, you know, if you went, you know, like in your neighborhood and just had everybody come out on the street and you put all your problems out in the street and everyone could see all the different problems, you probably walk back to your house with,
I'll
with
take the problems I have, for sure.
versus like, you know, somebody else has like these, you know, life-threatening diseases and all these different things.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing because it's impossible not to compare yourself to other people. But I am curious about like, did you feel like the stuff that you were doing wasn't that big of a deal when you were doing it? Did you feel like I know you probably knew you were good because you won all the time.
Yeah.
But did you kind of
I
feel
think there was a feeling of like it wasn't significant. You know, the only and I know this, the ADCC stuff I did, that I knew was significant because at that point there wasn't an elite wrestler involved. And I consciously was like, I'm going to show them what an elite wrestler can do to a black belt jiu-jitsu guy without a gi.
Yeah.
Right? And against every other discipline out there. And that was like my determination of like, I'm going to show them. Because they had like Tito was involved, but he's not elite wrestler. You had Mike Van Arsdale, I think, did 1 year. He was a great wrestler, but not elite. Then you had Jeff Munson, not elite. You had, you know, a couple other.
Did Dan Severn do it?
No. It's just one of those where it's like, I'm was determined to demonstrate like, this is the shit. This is like one of these things where I don't care what you know. I'm going to turn you into I'm going to make you wrestle me.
Were you able to submit people?
I did actually.
With just like.
No, I did.
Like
so the first year, there's no. First year is no. Second year, and still to this day he hates it. Josh Barnett, I got him in a Kimura lock, and he was pissed.
Oh, he's legendary.
He was pissed. He was pissed, but he was young.
Yeah.
And so I know this. I competed against him both years, my first and second year, and my first year, I go, oh fuck. Like this kid had potential. I could feel it. I knew that he knew what he was doing. And the second year, I'm like, I do not want to face him 2 years down the road.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just know that from 1 year to the next year, I'm like, oh, he just made a silly mistake. Silly mistake. Literally, I'm on him, cross body on him, and he posted up.
Take it.
Posted up on his arm, and all his body weight was on his arm. He posted it, and it was like, dude, it was like too easy. And once I got it away from him, it was like, dude.
Yeah.
You know, because he didn't have the physique. You know, he had flexibility, he had quickness, he had conditioning, but he didn't have the horsepower.
In SEMA, can anybody do that now? Or is jiu-jitsu too far along, you think?
What do you mean?
Can somebody come into jiu-jitsu, or can a wrestler just go into jiu-jitsu and win the way that he was able to win?
With a gi? No way.
With a gi, no.
No chance.
No gi.
No.
Yeah, a gi gives you too many points of control.
It does.
I mean? But like no gi, a wrestler will still give jiu-jitsu guys a lot of issues. But a lot of jiu-jitsu guys that are like do no gi jiu-jitsu get some levels of wrestling.
They have to.
That's what I mean. Like, maybe it's too advanced at this point for someone to come in.
It's come along because when I was doing it, there was to give you an idea, Beverly Hills Jiu-Jitsu's when I went out and taught wrestling, you had all the jiu-jitsu guys sitting on the outside of the mat, not participating. Right? The second the class was over, this is no shit. They would go, pull the blinds, lock the door, and they would go, show me.
Show us the forbidden.
Show me the forbidden fruit, right? Like
that's great.
Like it, because if they got caught showing me how to defend like a Kimura lock or an armbar or a triangle, they would be barred from their dojos. This is no shit.
Wow.
It was that archaic back then. Wow. And so there was guys going, okay, how do you do double? What's the finishes? They just wanted a little bit, because you can take that little bit of information and they can make it their own.
Yeah.
Right. And so still there is like this whole thing about defending elite jiu-jitsu guys. Like, how do you not get caught? That was the big, like, how do you at that level not get caught in an arm bar or not get caught in this sequence of chess moves where it's like slip here, move here, hip here, slide here, push here, triangle choke. Mm-hmm. It's like, because you could see the elite guys just move this fluidity of like pull here, push here, pull here, push here. And all of a sudden you go, what the fuck just happened? Like, it's like, it's this chain. In wrestling, they call it chain wrestling. Mm-hmm. Like, it's these chain movements of like everything they're doing is deliberate because it leads you to the end they want. It was like one of those things where, like, looking at it going, okay, I need to try to understand this.
Remember, like, early UFC, people would tap and like the ref barely knew what was going on.
I was saying earlier, it's like,
I think the ref maybe wasn't in position, and the guy's like tapping, and he's like, I'm done. And
I watched that VHS tape of Dan Severn getting triangle choked.
Yeah,
I don't know, probably 50 times rewinding it, and I still was like, because the camera angle sucked.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, I still don't understand what he did. Like, you looked at it in real time, and you go, because he was beating the crap out of him to that point. He was just manhandling him, right? And so when Hoist caught him in the triangle choke, everybody was like, why did he tap?
Yeah.
What was he doing? Because his gi was covering a lot of the stuff up so you couldn't see, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, Dan,
just quit out of nowhere.
Yeah, quit. Like, dude, I wouldn't have quit. It's like, no, you were getting choked the fuck out. You would have tapped out or you would have blacked out.
I remember Ken Shamrock when he lost to Hoist Gracie. When he actually said, I need to learn this.
Yeah.
Like, he goes, obviously I don't understand what jiu-jitsu is. I thought that was really awesome that he said that rather than being like, this is bullshit.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Guy caught me in something weird and now I'm going to fight him next time. He was like, no, I need to learn this.
Oh gosh. It was, there's so much, and they made it deliberately. They made it where it was like mysterious. It was like, it's the magic art of choke him out. It's like, okay, but they made it deliberately where it had this mystique behind it. It had this, like, I need to look into this,
And it also had like that goal of a martial art where like a guy that doesn't look the part, right, is able to beat somebody huge or something. You know what I mean? So
it had a I think this, like, one of the stories I've heard was Hickson, who looked the part.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So his dad said, no, we're not putting you out there, putting skinny little Hoist out there, because the idea behind it is they wanted to sell more instructional tapes.
Yeah.
Right. So they could show this skinny guy beating these bigger guys. It's like, well, I want to learn that. Right. Mm-hmm. And so that's, I've heard that story a bunch of different times. Like that, like you're looking at it going, what the, he tapped.
He tapped and like, no,
he tapped and the ref, the ref's like, did they say he was, this is how strange this is.
Yeah. And Hoist is like yelling at him. He's like, you effing quit.
Yeah.
You tapped or whatever. I think he's saying.
Yeah. And he did.
Yeah.
I mean, he tapped 3 times on the mat.
Yeah, and then I guess nowadays in the UFC, these guys are taught don't let go until the ref like pulls.
Oh
you.
Yeah.
There are people who try to like fake tap.
Yep.
Kind of weird stuff going on.
They'll do like this.
Yeah. I was trying to get a different position. It's like no, you were out.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is such classic stuff. It's incredible that
you were undefeated in the UFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why didn't you fight more in the UFC? Did you get pulled over to Japan?
So
more?
I did. So I mean, this is again one of these unheard stories. So so I signed originally with the UFC for 3 tournaments. Right? It was supposed to be 14, 15, and then it was supposed to be another tournament. Mm-hmm. And so after 15, the Japanese saw my tapes from Brazil and they saw my tapes from UFC, and they're like, "Hey, we want to make you." Huge here, right? And so they brought me over. They signed me to fight Hoist. My original contract with Pride, or wasn't Pride at the time, it was called KRS.
Okay.
was the fight hoist. So him and I have a fight poster that I signed a couple years ago. Everything made up, ticket prices, all of that. When I got back to the States about maybe a week, 10 days after the press conference we did in Japan and the pictures and all that, I got a knock on the door and I opened the door and you've been served. Open it up. You've been sued by the UFC for breach of contract. And jurisdiction was, there it is. That's a fight poster I signed. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I go, I want one of these. I don't have one. That would have been the fight.
Yeah.
That, because he was still peak. Mm-hmm. And I was just got to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Right. I'm comfortable with and that comfort allows me to train deliberately, right? Like going, okay, it's not a mystery anymore. Okay. What he's trying to do. So I get back, they sue me. And thankfully I went to school with a guy at Syracuse who was an attorney in New York City because that's where jurisdiction was. So it stayed in court from November. It stayed in court from November till I did March 1998 was my first fight in Japan. So it stayed November, December, January, February. UFC asked for my passport, so I couldn't go over.
Wow.
They said, your skills are so unique that the amount of monetary damages can't be quantified. Because your skills worldwide are so unique, we can't find them anywhere else. And because you're breaching the contract, that means it's just an insurmountable amount of money. They were suing me for like $10 million.
Jesus.
It was ridiculous.
Wow.
But it was under the old regime. It was Bob Meyerowitz and Art Davies, the original. And so they eventually, so the three fight deal that I did with the UFC was $25,000 for 14, $25,000 for 15, and $25,000 for a third. And so in February, I ended up buying out that last event on the contract for $25,000. And that freed me up to go fight in Japan. But I mean, it was crazy because I didn't have money.
Yeah.
So when they sued me,
that's cold.
Oh, it was cold. It was really cold. It was really cold because it's just one where it's like the first motion that the law firm filed as a counter to what the UFC said was $35,000. And Frank, his name's Frank Ryan. His brother is the head coach of Ohio State Wrestling. Actually, I went to school with him. Yeah, Tom Ryan.
Yeah.
And so Frank's like, hey, listen, I'm gonna have the paralegal do as much as she can. She's like $150 an hour. He goes, I'm $375 an hour, and my boss is $1,200 an hour.
Damn.
So he goes, I'll try to keep things on my desk and my paralegal's desk. And right. And so it's this. So the first motion I get sent, it's like this thick.
Damn.
And it's like one of those things where it was like, it was one of those odd times. So as it ends up progressing, I end up literally going to the Japanese and going, how bad do you want me? And they're like, we want this fight to go off. And so I said, you need to indemnify me against any legal action. They're like, okay. So I get a hold of Frank and he's like, have them wire this amount over. And they wired that amount over. And that was the retainer they needed. It was like $65,000 to start the case.
Wow.
To start. It ended up being like $175,000 in legal fees.
Jeez.
And that's on my side. So I can't imagine what they spent on the other side. I just can't imagine. But it was prior to Dana's involvement, prior to TKO's involvement, prior to all that. And again, this is one of these things at the very, very beginning, nobody knew. Yeah. But at that point, the UFC was starting to run out of gas because they did, after 15, they did a fight in Japan. And that's what they wanted me for. But the Japanese pride goes, you come over and you fight for them, you'll never fight for us. Because we need to introduce you to the Japanese fans through us.
Yeah.
Not through them. And it was like, oh, okay. And so the rest is history.
What was that like going to Japan? I mean, I know in the UFC, like, you know, it built up, and by 14, 15 and stuff like that, it's kind of popular here, but whole different world. When you went to Japan. I saw, like, in the movie, it shows you know, walking towards the crowd and everyone just goes absolutely bananas.
Ballistic. It's this gave me so at the peak of my popularity in Japan, if I stood, they had an area which was called Roppongi, which is like Times Square. If I stood on a street corner for 15 minutes, I'd probably have 50 to 100 people.
Wow.
Standing there. Like my first couple times over, it was small stuff like this. It was like they had an electronic district, right? And I remember going to the electronic district. They were like 3 years in front of us, electronics. There's only a couple that were compatible with the United States, so everything was on a different. And so I go into this electronics store. I'm probably in it for an hour. And I come back out, and there's this 2 kids standing with a disposable, like, Kodak camera, right? And he's holding it there. And he explains, like, hey, we've been waiting here. Can we take pictures with you? And I'm like,
For what?
I'm like, you've been waiting here. Yeah. Well, they didn't want to go in and bother me. They waited outside the door till I finished shopping, and then said, please, can you have, even when you were sitting down eating, nobody would bother you. Wait till you get up and went outside. It was just a different kind of respect and reverence. And you know, over there, I've been in, you know, arenas, 65,000 people, and boss talking this loud. Harder, left, right, left, quiet. And then you do something in the ring, you'd hear, quiet.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like, first time you're in it, you're like, this is weird. Mm-hmm. But it's this reverence and respect they had.
You know, go ahead.
I was going to say, did you make some good money?
I did. They paid me cash.
Yeah, you know, so that happens in professional wrestling. I mean, not with obviously the big names, but I had a couple stints with doing some stuff with WWE and doing some stuff with 0-1. And in WWE, they just had a briefcase.
Yep.
It was just full of $100 bills. And they would just, you know, I think I made like $500 or something just for showing up. And if I did a match, I think I made like $700, $800, something like that. And they just give you like this tiny little stack, and you're just looking at all the other stacks like, holy shit. And you know how many briefcases they have? But I think it's from the gate, from like the night before or something like that.
So you had with like my first contract I got paid on, they, even though that hoist didn't participate, they still gave me the dollar amounts, $250,000, $250,000. Back then, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Right. And so, like, going
That's
to
10 times the amount the UFC gave you for each.
Oh yeah, isn't it crazy?
Wow.
And so
guys don't really make that now.
No. And it was like a totally different. It was a different feel.
There's no pride fighting championships anymore. Is there?
No. They have. I think it's one.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have, and it just they screwed the pooch. I mean, they really did. I mean, Pride screwed up a contract they had with Sky Perfect TV. Sky Perfect TV is Rupert Murdoch, you know, the Fox Corp and all that, and they screwed it up. I mean, it's one where you know, it was the Japanese Yakuza involved in it and from the very beginning. Like my handler, like the guy that it was a request, but it was a demand. Like for me to go over after my first time over there for Pride 2, Mr. Zizaka was his name, would request that I come over a couple days earlier. So if I needed like 5 days to you know, so I'm not jet lagged and stuff, he would say come over 8 days before, because the first couple days he'd want to have dinner with me, hang out with me and stuff like that.
Probably treating you really well.
Oh my God, incredible.
Good meals, everything.
Incredible. I mean, everything was like, okay, what do you want? It's like, oh, the teppanyaki, that one place. It's like not knowing that sitting down was like $10,000 dinner, you know, like for 6 of us to sit down. Wow, you know, it's like California wines, you know, Kobe beef. There's like, you know, there's melon that you got, which is a special Japanese melon. It's like $100 a slice.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You can look it up. It's the craziest stuff in the world. It's a Japanese, I always forget the name of it, but it's like one of those where
Stuff
I'm
like that's so cool. I mean, you grew up in what, in Ohio?
yeah.
right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
A kid that loves wrestling and
blue collar. My dad was a pipe fitter.
Barry King. Or
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's crazy. It's a specialty. It's growing. It's like I knew nothing about it, and then you eat it, and you don't chew it. You just put it in your mouth, and it just melts. Oh, and it has a texture.
You gotta get a hold of some of this stuff.
Oh, dude, it is absolutely just off the charts. But it was experiences like this. It was things like this, and so at some point they end up installing like real figureheads to the company. Saki Kabara was one of the guys, and I don't remember the president, but the president hung himself in a hotel room, supposedly over a mistress, and that was the beginning of the end. That was the downfall, and so pride doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately.
Seeing how I'm curious your thoughts, because fighters, when I think about like the violence of that sport, it's like maybe football is something that is somewhat comparative, but it's not, because it's not getting struck in the face and getting knees, etc. And when you look at like how fighters get paid, it's one of those things where do you think that there can be improvement in how fighters are being taken care of?
So there's two things that have come up where it's changed the perspective that I've had. Okay. So back in January, I sat on a fireside chat at the Consumer Electronics Show, and I was put together by a company that I'm a brand ambassador for called Ultra Human. They do wearables. Right?
Oh yeah, the rings.
Okay, rings, right? And it had Heather and Roman. Heather and Roman are the head doctors for the UFC Performance Institute. Okay. Forrest Griffin was on the panel too. And so the UFC is going to be the first major organization to have a cognitive center for their athletes during and post. Right? Mm-hmm. Like you figure football would have had this 30 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
Right? So that's one. The driving force behind a lot of that is Forrest. The driving force behind the Performance Institute has been a lot of Forrest driving to try to get the best of the best of the best. So if you're under contract with the UFC, you have access to that facility year round, as long as you're under contract, training camp, in, out, rehabilitative, nutritional, medical, doing all kinds of state-of-the-art things, training-wise, to try to really bring everything up to a level that it's never been before. Mm-hmm. That's one. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of like okay, they're in the right direction. Pay is the other one. It's not equivalent to the market. It's just not. I just looked at it, and I don't know what the books look like, but I just seen an article the other day where they're supposedly going to take this year $1.5 billion in cash, and it goes back into the business, meaning the fighters, which I hope.
And that's a new thing, right? They haven't done that before.
Haven't. Right. So a lot of and you probably know this, like WWE contract, like pay-per-view events, like if your main card, I don't know what they call it, like if you're in broadcast or not broadcast, like they have, so there's like profit share that they do with some of the buy rates and all this other stuff.
Yeah, if you make it to a pay-per-view, you're making some pretty good money.
Yeah. Because you participate in profit. Mm-hmm. It's like if Dwayne's going out and he's the main event and they have a buy rate of 10 million households, at $100 a household, it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to participate. So I think the UFC had some of that. All the way around, I believe they're heading in the right direction. I hope, because it's such a big dollar amount when you're talking like somebody buying your broadcast rights for $7.7 billion. Mm. You better invest in your product.
Yeah. And what they put their bodies through.
It's the hardest shit in the world. There is not another equivalent, because it's you. It's not a team of you. Mm-hmm. It's you. That's it. So I mean, it's one of those where I really hope they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, because
the sport is unique. It's unique in what it's been able to create. Its fan base, its following, everything that has opened up, like right now, women's wrestling is the fastest growing thing in the United States. It saved men's wrestling.
Yeah.
It saved men's wrestling.
How did it save men's wrestling?
Men's wrestling was going to be axed from the Olympics.
Oh.
Like I think 8 years ago, they said, here's why. The Olympic Committee decides they want 1 and 1. So if you have a women's volleyball team, you have a men's volleyball team. If you have men's swimming, you have women's swimming. If you have men's wrestling, you have
women's wrestling.
But they didn't have it.
Oh.
They didn't have it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have an equivalent to it, it goes bye-bye.
Okay.
Because the Paris Olympics apparently were the first one where it was equal, all the way across to all the sports. Mm-hmm. First time. And so so they cut a couple weight classes from men's freestyle wrestling and Greco-Roman and added women's wrestling. And so that's the makeup. But again, when you start at a senior level and you don't have all these bitty root feeder programs, it's hard. And so now they're starting to build those back in. And that's why it's fastest growing, is because they have all this base needs to be built, because now there's a place for these women to go compete at a high level.
Yeah.
Besides UFC, besides Ronda Rousey's and stuff like that, right? It's so there's a lot of really cool stuff that the UFC has helped that whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And it's like, I go, you want to make life a little easier, wrestle. Because it redefines what hard is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh my God, I had to go to work 8 hours today. Yeah. Well, fuck, come to wrestling practice, bro. Like, come to wrestling practice.
And see which one you're going to pick.
See which one you're going to pick. You're like, I'm going to work, man. You want 14 hours, bro? I'll give you 14 hours, right? I'm serious.
Yeah.
It just redefines shit, right? And so, and whether it's the right thing or wrong, I go, if we'd have a completely different United States, completely different thinking if you went, hey, you got to wrestle from 7th grade to 12th grade. Or combat sports, or you got to do jiu-jitsu, or you got to do sambo, or you got to do judo, or you got to do something of that physicality, because it develops character.
Wrestling is going to force you to be like kind of in shape, at least a little bit, right?
And that's a mechanism.
Yeah.
Right? That's a mechanism. Like when I was going through all the shit I was going through, that mechanism was missing, and it had been such a huge part of my life for so long. Without it there, it's this void. And I'm trying to dump all this stuff into it to figure out how to fill it. And it's like, there's only one thing that fills it, is getting out there and doing something about it. Getting in the gym, getting on a mountain bike, getting on a road bike, getting in whatever it is.
You still push yourself?
Still, yeah. Yeah, you saw my, you saw my arm.
Yeah, your spill that you had on your mountain bike.
I need a little bit of challenge, right? Like it sounds so silly, but like I have these loops that I do, like a 12-mile loop or a 10-mile loop, and then my watch, through my earbuds, I can hear a split, right? Like so I know where I am on the trail when it gives me my split time, and I know like miles per hour. It's like I'm like, like I'm not. It's like I didn't hit the beginning of this hard.
Right.
And it's just one where I still enjoy it. I can still ride like 2 miles an hour and enjoy it because it's beautiful scenery, right? But there's this thing in me that goes, like my motto is like, once I start, I'm not allowed to stop. Like it's not like a mountain bike tour.
It does suck too to get done with a workout and to go, that wasn't that good of a workout.
So I'm there.
It's different if you're like newer with something, but sometimes you're like, but if you're trying something, that's, maybe that's something that you're not used to, but you've been mountain biking for a little while.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute. I mean, it has an app with a specialized bike that I can track it up to 1,600 miles. And it's like 10 miles, 8 miles at a time. Like mountain bike's not road bike. I mean, you can road bike 100 miles in a day.
And you're fine.
And it's
not a huge deal.
Not a huge deal. This is like I've climbed, 70,000 feet in elevation.
Damn.
Like up, but it's like up one day you have 300 feet. you know, or 500 feet, and then down up. And it's just like, it all adds up. Like in a week, if I'm out about 5 times a week, it's like all that little incremental stuff just adds up. And it's one where it's like, it's like my catharsis. It's my meditation.
What about when the 70-year-old guy passes you?
Oh, dude, I've had it.
Are you like,
All right, Mark, you're getting leaner and leaner, but you always enjoy the food you're eating. So how you doing it?
I got a secret, man. It's called Good Life Protein.
Okay, tell me about that.
I've been doing some Good Life Protein. You know, we've been talking on the show for a really long time of certified Piedmontese beef, and you can get that under the umbrella of Good Life Proteins, which also has chicken breast, chicken thighs, sausage, shrimp, scallops, all kinds of different fish, salmon, tilapia. The website has nearly any kind of meat that you can think of. Lamb is another one that comes to mind. And so I've been utilizing and kind of using some different strategy, kind of depending on the way that I'm eating. So if I'm doing a keto diet, I'll eat more fat, and that's where I might get the sausage, and I might get their 80-20 grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef. I might get bacon. And there's other days where I kind of do a little bit more bodybuilder style, where the fat is, you know, might be like 40 grams or something like that. And then I'll have some of the leaner cuts of the certified Piedmontese beef.
This is one of the reasons why, like, neither of us find it hard to stay in shape, because we're always enjoying the food we're eating. And protein, you talk about protein, leverage it all the time. It's satiating and helps you feel full.
I look forward to every meal. And I can surf and turf, you know.
Yeah.
I could cook up some, chicken thighs or something like that and have some shrimp with it, or I could have some steak. I would say, the steak, it keeps going back and forth for me on my favorites, so it's hard for me to lock one down, but I really love the bavette steaks.
Yeah.
And then I also love the ribeyes as well.
You can't go wrong with the ribeye. So, guys, if you guys want to get your hands on some really good meat, you can head to goodlifeproteins.com and use code POWER for 20% off any purchases made on the website, or you can use code POWERPROJECT to get an extra 5% off if you subscribe and save to any meats that are a recurring purchase.
This is the best meat in the world.
You it's funny. So I've been out. Like there's a couple climbs where it's like rock. And the first time this goes back a little bit. And when I first moved to Arizona, where you had this guy that would get past, it looked like it was a Huffy bike, like a Target, mountain bike, and he just, and he's going up like this, like guys are walking their bikes up and down it. They're getting, I'm getting off. And this guy, little belly on him, straight up. It was the strangest stuff in the world. Like I've looked at him and go, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, that's not fair.
You're like, we're fighting, dude. That's
bro, like put your bike down. And again, and other times I've seen, guys in the desert, going by him and thinking this, not saying it out loud, going, "Hey, you're taking your bike for a walk again, huh?" It's like, is it just one word?
Some trash talking.
That's some trash talking in my head, like. You taking that $10,000 bike for a walk again, huh? There you go. Good for you. Yeah. You look great in those tights too, but it's just one more. Sometimes that's a nature of me that I have to just, I got to do my own thing.
Tone it down. Tone it down a notch every once in a while.
Yeah. It's all
You're still lifting and stuff like that here and there. I know you said your knee and
my hip and shoulder. So that's one of those where rehabilitative lifting functional for hips open, shoulders open, all of that stuff. I'm getting back to next month, and it's just one of those. I needed a little bit of a pause for my body to just do a little bit of a reset. I need to actually drop a few more pounds. Walking around, I'm still 260.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And so it's one where it's like, it's one of those where it's like, I need a little, because my bones just, they need a little bit of, and it's one where it's like, okay, like, and now, I told my trainer, I go, I want to weigh 235. And he's like, why? Like, because there's, where are we going to get it from? So it's just one where it's like, I have this just map in my head. And it's not so I can wear skinny Calvin Klein jeans, right? It's
You're not going to fit in skinny
no,
jeans.
I'm not. I've tried. Bro, I've tried. It's just like muffin top, comes up. I'm like, what the fuck? This is not a good look. So It's all good though.
Toughest opponent?
Myself, by far toughest.
Still fighting with that bastard.
I know. God, sometimes you just won't let go. You know.
Who's the greatest fighter of all time?
Man, you know what? I pound for pound, there's two that come up. Sakuraba.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
And Hoist.
And they fought each other.
They did. Hoist had to fight him 4 times before he finally beat him. And I'll tell you a quick story. So the Grand Prix, that's in the dock and all that, right? So I'm warming up. The fight in the ring at the time is Hoist Gracie and Sakuraba. Hoist demanded that the rounds be 15-minute rounds, no time limit, 15 minutes. And then at the end of that 15 minutes, if it was a draw, you fought for another 15 minutes. So Sakuraba and Hoist fight for 1 hour and 30 minutes.
My God.
So I have a small little TV in my warm-up in my locker room, and I'm watching, and Sakuraba gets him in a knee bar at the end of the first round. And I'm like, okay, let's get ding, ding. Some bitch. Sit down. Another 15 minutes goes by. Hoist almost gets me, or Sakuraba almost gets again. Ding, ding, round ends. So I warm up 3-4 times, and you get an adrenaline and then a dump. Adrenaline and a dump. Adrenaline and a dump. Hour and a half later, Hoist couldn't answer the bell for the 6th round or 7th round or whatever it was. Shit. Yeah. If you get a chance to look at it, it's like, because Sakuraba hockey jerseys him, pulls the gi all the way over Hoist's head, got him in the corner.
Was his
decking
nickname
him.
Gracie Killer, I think?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hoist fought him, I think the 4th time Hoist fought him, Hoist beat him.
Wow.
But he had beaten Hoist, he had beaten Henzo, Helia, he'd beaten like every Gracie that was at it at the time. He was just crazy.
He just threw both fists at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
My God, he did it again.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
He did a baseball slide. So you'd have like somebody, watch this, took his gi, pulled it up.
Oh, he's got it like
Like you hockey, like you do it up top, right? Except reverse.
right.
Unbelievable.
Just figures out really good leverages.
Yep. Yeah.
Who was the other fighter? You said Sakuraba
Sakuraba and Hoist.
and Hoist.
So I mean, modern like now fighters. I mean, arguably John Jones. Pereira. I don't know what Alex's ground skills are like, but I know like when I met him in person and gave him like a bro hug, going, dude, God made you for one purpose. One purpose. Lean, long muscle where you're like, dude, because he doesn't
solid.
Solid, and he does things. So if you look at his kicks, he doesn't load, so there's no tell. Like he's in a standing position. Like normally you have a tendency to want to cock. You're none, and he can generate so much
No
power.
idea it's coming.
No idea. So his front leg just goes flip. And you're like, whoa! Like he does stuff when you look at it and break it down. You go, oh, that's unique. I mean, very unique. Incredible.
Just quick. It's just like a
Quick,
whip.
little snaps.
Yeah.
Watch his front leg lead. Boom. That's his back. That's no load. He doesn't load. There's like 0 load on it. He'll do it. Boom.
Dang.
He takes that little step. Boom. And I'm just telling you, it inflicts so much damage.
Would some of the guys
much damage.
Would some of the guys from your era, would they cause some major problems for some of the guys of today, or has the sport advanced in a way to where they would be able to?
It's quantum leap.
Gotcha.
It really has. Because I mean, back then, fighters, you can get away. You're talking about like being strong. You can get away with a lot of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Back then, as just you can have a fundamental foundation understanding of like wrestling, or you can get away with a lot of stuff. Because a lot of the guys you were fighting didn't have that depth. Now, like I've watched even a couple of years difference. You look at it and go, oh my God, man. Like in the couple of years advanced down the road, you're like, wow, these guys are like advancing the sport at a rate which is incredible because, again, it goes back to the original thing. How do you solve the problem? How to get through a 10-week training camp or 8-week training camp at the end of it and be whole? That problem's been solved, right? Now it's adding all the other components in there and polishing them. Yeah, Pereira's a dog. Yeah. Just straight up dog.
Yeah, it sounds like him and John Jones might fight.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Too.
That's like one of those where it's like, because they showed John Jones against Ciro or
Ciro Gane?
Ciro Gane. Yeah, that's the card they announced on Saturday night.
Really?
Yeah, they announced the full White House card on Saturday night.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's June 14th, which is Trump's 80th birthday.
Okay.
Right, and the 250th birthday of the United States. That's all celebrated that night.
And John Jones is scheduled to fight already against
Ciro.
Again? Didn't he fight?
Yeah.
And he just like beat him like in a minute or something.
Yeah, choked him out.
Choked him out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll be a little different this time.
Oh wait, it's Pereira Gane, right? It says Pereira versus Gane.
Okay.
Oh, maybe
Okay.
maybe that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't think John Jones said who he's fighting quite yet.
Okay, maybe I just looked at it wrong. It's like one of those things where I was like, it looked like a card where my son was standing next to me and he goes, "Oh my God." Like, oh my God. I'm like, what? I'm like not even paying attention to it.
Every fight's going to be loaded up.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God. And again, that's one of those where it's like, it should be.
Tell me more about this ring that you're tracking some of your fitness stuff, and then tell me about these patches. I got one on my neck right now.
So Ultra Human, they do, there's wearables out there. Samsung does one, Aura does one, all that. Ultra Human does a little bit different because it's non-subscription, so you don't have to be a monthly subscription. Yep. It does the interface and biometrics it does is awesome. It's really cool. Like my big thing I use it for is sleep tracking. Like it has a little module that you can use that my alarm won't go off until I'm through 5 REM cycles.
Nice.
And then my alarm will wake me up.
Oh, cool.
Right? Or I can set it for 6, or I can set it for whatever I want. And so that's the big deal is me looking at that. Then they do another thing where they do vision, which is 100 different biomarkers. So they send a phlebotomist to your house. That's an additional cost. I think it's like $500.
Okay.
But they send a phlebotomist to your house, draws the blood, and they give you 100 different biomarkers. And it breaks them down. So you can click on, like, if your cholesterol is high, you can click in order to give you studies to say, hey, in this study, when you add this to your diet, it helps with, and they usually have a couple different references for each one. So you can click on a lot of it, and it opens up like just to follow. Because my big deal for me is taking control of my health, right?
Now you got all this blood work. Now what the hell do you do?
Yeah,
with it, right?
It's like, okay, yeah, I got the information. It's like, because I want the information to be to me, not to my doctor, and then to me. And if I have questions medically, I can ask my doctor. Mm-hmm. But I want to be able to look at it because nowadays there's so much information out there. Mm-hmm. You know, this allows you to just compartmentalize it. And then they also have something called, it's a home unit. So it's a unit that monitors like my blue light at home. It monitors my noise, my volatile organic compounds.
It tells you like how much blue light is in your
light and all that.
Kitchen and whatever.
Yeah, all that.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not just a ring. It's also that.
It's vision. It's vision. And then it's home. And then they're adding some other elements to it. They're coming out now. They have a new ring. It's called Ultra Human Pro. And so that's being released right now. It should have been released at the beginning of the year. This is a Diesel design. They partner with Diesel. And so it's a Diesel design ring.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Diesel Brothers?
Yeah. So don't know if it is or not, but it's one where it's one where
Gotcha.
They're really allowing you to actually have access. What's crazy, like with medical records, mm-hmm. right? Like we don't own our medical records. Like if you want your medical records right now, I think in the state of California, I think in 20-something states.
It's a pain in the ass, yeah.
Well, in 20-something states, you don't own it. It's either owned by your doctor or by the hospital, but they're your personal medical records, right? And so like there's technology out there that, not this company, but another company I'm working with called Datavolt, they're trying to get where you can have on your phone all your medical records. So if you go in, doctor go, hey, here's my last 3 MRIs. Here's the last time I went to the dentist. Because it allows you to take personal responsibility for your health. Because a lot of times people, like I was thinking health is just something, well, I need to go to the professional. Yeah, you can go to professionals, you can consult with them, but you have the ability to take control of your personal health.
Yeah.
You do. It's not some monumental thing. It's you have the ability with all the technology that's out there, take control of it.
When you go down the rabbit hole of trying to find out what prescription medications help with your heart, what prescription medications help with mental illness. There's really not much. I mean, depending on what data you're looking at.
Well, I didn't even get into it, but I ended up doing therapeutic plasma exchange, where I had all my plasma removed from my body because it has tau protein, which is a byproduct of concussions. It has microplastics in it. It has heavy metals in it. It has all this. Do a plasma exchange. It's called TPE, therapeutic plasma exchange. But prior to that, I did something called TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. So they mapped all 19 parts of my brain, my executive brain. I had brainwave functioning of less than 5% in my executive.
Was that because of fighting, or was that something just?
They don't want to draw that correlation, but you can draw that correlation.
Okay.
Right? You can go, okay, so this is a little bit deeper, but so your sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, right? Like you train I train my sympathetic nervous system to be reactive. Like somebody go, oh, you're in a flow state. Yeah. That's because I'm not thinking about anything and my body's just reacting because I train my nervous system to do that, right? And so when they tested my nervous system, there's no variation between the two. So when you're supposed to engage, now I'm confused. Sympathetic, what's your autonomic? Parasympathetic?
Parasympathetic is rest and relax.
Okay, rest. Sympathetic is your fight, flight, and fuck, right?
Yes.
So sympathetic, right? So my sympathetic nervous system, there's no variation between that and my parasympathetic.
Wow.
No variation. So for the last 20 years, I've been locked in this.
And that's really normal for people that train hard.
Yep, it is. But I didn't understand, like the analogy I use, it's like being comfortable walking with rocks in your shoes. Because I just got used to it, right? Like understanding, like underneath me, there's this irritation, this agitation, this anxiety, this uneasiness.
You don't possess the ability to calm down, even though you may feel calm.
You don't. And it affects every aspect of my life, right? So they mapped my brain out and said, okay, you have areas of your brain where you have I had 4 areas that were less than 5% brain wave functioning. I had other areas that were 20%. And they went through, I did 20 sessions of that.
This is the magnet therapy. And then what's the test called?
It's the test actually is just, they need to use a neuro, the place that I went to is in Scottsdale. It's called Biomed. Okay. And you can look on their website and there's a name for it. I just can't remember it. But they literally map my brain. And from there they go, okay, the computer is going to tell us where we need to stimulate your brain because it creates the neuroplasticity that's missing for your brain to communicate and act like a brain. Right? Mm-hmm. Like people use ketamine and all that stuff now to be able to do it, right? This is a non-drug. It uses a magnet to stimulate those areas. So I did that, and it's like a game changer because it allowed me to, when I use these now, when I use patches, like the saying I have now is patches before pills, because before it was a pill for everything. They got, hey, take a pill. Oh, your heart's beating too fast, take a pill. You need to sleep, take a pill. Last time I took an Ambien, I ended up with 2 bottles of Jack Daniels in the trash and missing $10,000.
Damn.
Yeah. That was like last time, because I couldn't remember a fucking thing.
Damn.
And like so thankful, like I didn't end up like going out to the garage and having like the front of my car dented in, and going, oh my God, what the fuck? So, I mean, part of the patches, it's, they work, skin, touch, vibration, frequency. They're for me, they're just one of those things where they're habitual now, like in the morning, my morning routine. amino acids, creatine, my vitamins, other things, shake it up, have my patches up.
If it's not right, pour it out.
Pour it out. Exactly. Right. But it's just one where it's like there's other options out there. There's a lot more stuff that's in the ecosystem about personal health and taking responsibility for it and really trying to have other alternatives other than pharmacology.
Is this just jewelry you're wearing? Or is that sort of quantum something?
This is. I
got a lot of friends that wear that kind of stuff.
Oh my God, this is called Rudius, right? So on the back it has this scrolling.
That's cool.
That's a story of a Roman gladiator, and you'll get this. So Roman gladiators were slaves. They weren't free. Mm-hmm. But through effort and through training, through victories, you could earn your freedom, right?
Gladiator, I saw the movie.
Right. And so when you earn your freedom, you got a wooden sword called a Rudius.
That's
right?
Cool.
Oh, okay.
And so the symbolic for me is that I've earned my freedom. Right? I don't have to be in the Coliseum. I don't have to be fighting. I'm earned.
But if you were,
if I was, yeah,
you could handle yourself.
I could handle another senior citizen just like me. So be careful, Mark.
Right?
Because it's just one where it's like it's the importance of you said it earlier. Like sometimes I think, like when I look back on my career, I don't think it was significant, but it was significant. Because everything was built. And looking back on it, and I've said this before, is like I was trying to move it this much forward. That's it. I wasn't trying to move it here, but I was trying to move it just that much further because there was something there, right? So, I think I did my part.
Yeah, you're a huge part of the history, and you definitely shaped what is now known as modern MMA.
Yeah.
I mean, you were one of the... There was a few other guys in there too. You mentioned like Frank Shamrock. There was a couple other guys kind of mixing and melting things together, but you were part of that.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things where, right place, right time, and in the history of a sport that'll be here for a long time to come.
Where can people find you?
They can find me at markkerr.com. Simple. Me and my wife have a company also, which is called Absolute Wellness. You can find us on buildabsolutewellness.com. And also part of that Build Absolute Wellness is Live Absolute Wellness. That's what I'm heading. Mm-hmm. It's taking responsibility with personal health, personal choices.
What's Absolute Wellness? What does it do?
Absolute Wellness builds gyms. Does gyms for multifamily. Does at one point, my wife's for 23 years. She's sold gym equipment, designed, implemented all kinds of stuff. And from multifamilies, municipalities, individual homes, it's like if you want some new gym equipment, she's going to hook you up,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
We need that kind of stuff.
Well, this is the big part right now is Live Absolute Wellness right now is that personal responsibility for your health because nobody else is going to do a fucking thing about it. Mm-hmm. Nobody is.
Especially prevention.
Especially prevention. And you know what? Part of me doing the therapeutic plasma exchange and the TMS is I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden as I get older.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I look at it like...
As men, we're already burdens enough.
I know, right? My wife would agree with you. So, it's trying to have the awareness at this point where I still have all my faculties to be able to make choices and decisions. We can help mitigate the effects of age and time, right? I know I was hard on my body and there's a price to pay and I'm willing to pay it. But there's ways to be able to go about it that make sense, and I'm just thankful that, Dwayne decided to make a movie about me.
That is so awesome.
Dude, I'm just telling you, Mark, that's like one of those where I'm like, some days I'm afraid to go to sleep because I'll wake up and I go, oh, it didn't happen. Like, oh my God.
I know we're about to end the show real quick, but I didn't get to ask you this. When you first saw it and you saw him playing you, like, what was going through your mind when you were watching yourself on screen?
So January of 2025.
Yeah.
Benny and the producer said, "Hey, listen, we got a first rough cut of this. We want you to come to California and see it." Mm-hmm. So I flew my brother Michael out with me, and we small like 50-seat movie theater, and it's Benny to my right, me and my brother, and we sit down. I don't know what to expect, at all, and I sit down and watch it, and part of it was therapy.
Okay.
Like really like seeing myself in a capacity that I hadn't seen myself before, and realizing like, oh shit, there's a bunch of stuff I still need to be responsible for. You know, even though it's in the past, I still need to go, hey man, I'm sorry. That's, you know, it's entirely like, like just bad behavior. So it was therapeutic. Cried like unbelievable. And the cool part was, so that when the credits started rolling, like Benny gets up, I hug Benny, and I'm hugging my brother, and I look out of the corner of my eye, and Dwayne and Emily had come in the movie theater at the very end.
Yeah.
And we sat there for 45 minutes in the movie theater just talking. And it was this, because Dwayne wanted to make sure he got it right.
Yeah.
You know, and Emily wanted to make sure they got it right. And Benny wanted to make sure they got it right. And it was like one of those things where I was like, dude, like look, talk, speech pattern, walk, the whole fucking thing. I go, you nailed it. And then confirmation was when my son saw it in July, they flew him out to New York.
Okay.
And so my son saw it. Dwayne flew out. Emily was there. And this is what I picture, even though I picture like my son called me immediately afterward. And I picture him in the lobby of the movie theater going, Dad, he's got your walk. He talks like you. And they got him, he looks like you. And then there was this big pause, and this is what buckled me. He goes, Dad, he's even got your heart. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Wow.
I'm like, blessing.
That's amazing.
It was really cool.
15-minute standing ovation, I heard.
Yeah, it was intense, man. Like you imagine like that caliber of a human being, what he's experienced. Like Dwayne, what's he's experienced in his life is just, unbelievable. Yeah. And for him to be in that moment, like he's right next to me, right? And him saying to me like, I've never experienced this before. And Emily saying the same thing, like, I've never, like thinking like somewhere in their careers, they would experience an ovation like this.
Yeah.
But the movie goers in the film industry in Europe is different. It's a different appreciation for it. So for them to get that kind of respect for that it was a big deal. It's a big deal. It was like one of those things, and I've said it before, I go, Dwayne can be worth $1 billion. The one thing he couldn't get or wanted was the respect of his peers. You can't buy it. That's an earned thing, right? And so that I think was the final loop for him to go, I'm good.
The movie's coming out in Japan. Are you going to fly over there?
I hope so. I did an interview last night, and it was awesome. It was like one of those things where I was like, oh man, this is awesome.
You haven't been in a while, probably.
Oh my God. He said it in the interview. He goes, oh, you haven't been here. And then he paused for a minute. He goes, in 20 plus years. I'm like, oh God. Yeah. like I said in the email, I go, I helped build this, you know, I helped build this, you know? And so, these are my people. I haven't been back to my people in a while.
That's awesome.
You know? So hopefully it'll be interesting.
Better be able to get down there.
Yeah. If not, I'm buying a ticket.
Strength is never weakness. Weakness never strength. Catch you guys later. Bye.
Peace.